Okay, I'm back, y'all, and Divinely Grateful Risings. How are y'all doing today? I hope you're having a fantastic and an amazing day. Welcome to the message. Welcome to the message, y'all. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling good. Or let's do it. Y'all know we're finna serve a little spirit and the glam and spirituality. So get your cup. Okay, I don't know what I was finna say right there. I was finna say fill your cup, but anyway, I'm back. You know what to do, Skibooski. Like the live, share the love, drop something in the chat that you're grateful for. Let's get in the flow of abundance and get into Bible clarity, y'all. Um, we are in the book of Jeremiah, y'all. We are in the book of Jeremiah. And I was like, child, let me go ahead. Wait a minute, let me get to the right page. I say, child, let me go ahead and get these messages recorded. Because I hadn't got into it, child. It hadn't got good. So we're in Jeremiah 38. Y'all know we're gonna go ahead and wait a minute, Lord. Let me find it. I recorded 37. Hold on. Let me find my notes, y'all, for Jeremiah. Oh, here we go. For Jeremiah 38. So, of course, we going to read, and then I'll give y'all the notes that the Lord gave me after that. Jeremiah getting thrown in. He getting thrown into the cistern. He getting thrown into the cistern. And, y'all, I've been reading forward on this. And so, child, they didn't get poor Jeremiah. I'm talking about then went down through there, okay, getting taken down through there. But we'll see more of that as we continue to move forward. So, all to do it, let's get to it. Jeremiah is thrown into the cistern, y'all. And y'all see, I'm on my phone today. I don't have my camera plugged up. So, we probably won't be able to get the widgets, but that's all right. We still gonna get the work done. We still gonna do, I can unplug that, message. Okay, so all to do it, let's get to it. Here we go. Jeremiah thrown into the cistern. Here go these names, y'all. Now, Shephatiah, the son of Matan, and Gedaliah, the son of Pashur, and Jukal, also known as Jehukal, the son of Shelemiah, and Pashur, the son of Malchijah, heard the words that Jeremiah was speaking to all the people, saying, so says the Lord, he who remains in this city will die by the sword, by famine, and by virulent disease, pestilence. But he who goes out to the Chaldeans of Babylon will live and have his own life as a reward and stay alive. Thus says the Lord, this city will certainly be given into the hand of the army of the king of Babylon, and he will take it. Therefore, the princes, the court officials, said to the king, please, we implore you, let this man Jeremiah be put to death. For speaking in this way, he discourages and weakens the will of the soldiers who remain in this city, and he discourages and weakens the will of all the people by speaking such words to them. For this man is not seeking the well being of these people, but rather their harm. Pause. So we know Jeremiah done told them it's better to go ahead and accept the Lord's discipline, surrender to the king of Babylon, and let that be an easier discipline because you're going to have to take this burden. You're going to have to take these consequences, but better you surrender than you stay put. And so that's what he telling the people them. And now the princess is mad. Okay. And they telling King Zedekiah, you need to go ahead and take him out because he's weakening them because they won't take heed to what Jeremiah has said. Okay. Then King Zedekiah, fearing the princes, now this the king now, but he afraid of the princes. We gonna I think I don't even know if it's in this one. People pleasing. He's so worried about what the prince is gonna do that he ain't got no courage. Okay, he a little cowardly. Not courage the cowardly dog. Okay, I bet. King Zedekiah, fearing the princess, said, listen, he is in your hand, for the king is in no position to do anything against you. So they took Jeremiah and threw him into the cistern of Malchijah, the king's son, which was in the court of the guardhouse. And they let Jeremiah down into the cistern with ropes. Second time we heard about a cistern, ain't it? Remember, Joseph got thrown into the cistern. Now there was no water in the cistern, but only mud, and Jeremiah sank in the mud. Now Ebed Melech, the Ethiopian Cushite, one of the eunuchs who was in the king's palace, heard that they had put Jeremiah in the cistern, and while the king was sitting in the gate of Benjamin, Ebed-Melech went out of the king's palace and spoke to the king, saying, "My lord the king, these men have acted wickedly in all that they have done to Jeremiah the prophet, whom they have thrown into the cistern, and he will die of hunger where he is because of the famine, for there is no more bread in the city." Then the king commanded Ebed-Melech the Ethiopian, saying, "Take 30 men from here with you and lift Jeremiah the prophet out of the cistern before he dies." So Ebed-Melech took the men with him and went into the place of the king to a palace under the storeroom, and took from there old rags and worn out clothes and let them down by ropes into the cistern to Jeremiah. Then Ebed-Melech the Ethiopian said to Jeremiah, "Now put these old rags and worn out clothes under your armpits, then place the ropes under the padding," and Jeremiah did so. So they pulled Jeremiah up with the ropes and took him out of the cistern, and Jeremiah remained in the court of the guardhouse. Then King Zedekiah sent and had Jeremiah the prophet brought to him at the third entrance that is in the house of the Lord. And the king said to Jeremiah, "I am going to ask you something. Hide nothing from me." Then Jeremiah said to Zedekiah, "If I tell you, you will not certainly put me to death. Even if I do give you advice, you will not listen to me." But King Zedekiah swore secretly to Jeremiah, "As the Lord lives, who made our lives, be assured that I will not put you to death or put you into the hand of these men who are seeking your life." Interview with Zedekiah. Then Jeremiah said to Zedekiah, "Thus says the Lord, God of hosts, the God of Israel, if you will go out and surrender to the officers of the king of Babylon, then you will live, and this city will not be burned with fire, and you and your household will live." Pause. Once again, Jeremiah is telling him, listen, if you still up until this point, the Lord has given him an opportunity to not only save himself, but to save his family as well. He's saying, if you go ahead and surrender, you can save your life and your household will live. But if you will not go out to the officers of the king of Babylon, then this city will be given into the hand of the Chaldeans of Babylon, and they will set it on fire, and you yourself will not escape their hand. Then King Zedekiah said to Jeremiah, "I am afraid of the Jews, my former subjects, who have deserted to join the Chaldeans, for the enemy may be put into their hand, and they will mock me and abuse me." Pause. Now, y'all, as I was reading this, all I kept saying was, you literally sitting here talking to a prophet, the prophet of God, who's telling you that it don't matter. You ever just be like, sometimes, well, as I was reading this, I was just like, because now here he is. Okay, Jeremiah just told you, look, God said, if you go ahead and go, you're going to be all right and your family will live. Here he come with a rebuttal, but I'm afraid. Oh, you know what? And I was just like, well, what else do you want? You know what I'm saying? If God's saying that even though you're going to have to endure this, right? If God said that he's going to make sure that you'll live, you may not be under the best of circumstances, but here he is giving a reason, another reason why he don't want to do it. I don't know. Um, Okay, but Jeremiah said, "They will not hand you over to them. Please obey the voice of the Lord who speaks to you through me and what I am saying to you. Then it will go well with you and you will live. But if you keep refusing to go out and surrender to them, this is the word and the vision which the Lord has shown me. Then behold, all the women who are left in the palace of the king of Judah will be brought out to the officers of the king of Babylon, and those women will say to you, King Zedekiah, your close friends have prevailed against you better judgment and have overpowered and deceived you. While your feet were sunk in the mire of trouble, they turned back. Also, all your wives and your children will be brought out to the Chaldeans, and you yourself will not escape from their hand, but you will be seized by the king of Babylon, and this city, Jerusalem, will be burned down with fire." Then Zedekiah said to Jeremiah, "Let no man know about this conversation, and you will not die. But if the princes, the court officials, hear that I have talked with you, and they come to you and say, 'Tell us now what you said to the king and what he said to you. Do not hide it from us, and we will not execute you.' Then you are to say to them, I was presenting my humble petition and plea to the king so that he would not send me back to Jonathan's house send me back to Jonathan's house to die there. Then all the princes, the court officials, came to Jeremiah and asked him just what King Zedekiah had anticipated they would. And he reported to them in accordance with all that the king had commanded. So they stopped questioning him since the conversation with the king had not been overheard. So Jeremiah remained in the court of the guardhouse until the day that Jerusalem was captured by the Chaldeans of Babylon. The end. Okay, the end. So y'all, me reading this, like, he's not gonna tell you something different. Let me tell y'all the notes that the Lord had and gave me. Then we'll hop in with spirit guides, ancestors, angels, and ascended masters of the highest and purest light, vibration, and energy, and see what the Lord wants to talk about today. Here we go. He preached the same message. He did not tell Zedekiah anything different. The message is the message. Drop it in the chat. Like, the message is the message. What God speaks to you, what he has promised you, what he says to you, that is his word. And the message, even though he said he called him in privately, he wanted a private word with him. He thought that he was going to get a different word. And Jeremiah is like, no, the message is the message. You need to go ahead and surrender. He said it so that every man might have his own life. He told them, reaffirmed that the Lord already said the city is going to fall. You need to surrender. Those do better for themselves who patiently submit to the rebukes of providence, which is God's protective care, than those who go against it. So this is like, listen, I would much rather take God, because God is judging either way, right? In this situation, he's judged them either way, but I would much rather take the lesser judgment from God than the most severe judgment from God. If we can't have our freedom, we must count it as a blessing to have our lives. The princes persisted in their malice against Jeremiah. They didn't like him. They ain't like him, but that's okay. That's okay, because he was speaking for God. So it's okay when people don't like you when you're doing the Lord's work. There are people who are going to persecute you. You just look at what they did to Jeremiah. He was in jail. They let him out. Now they didn't threw him in a cistern, child. He's sinking in the mud and everything. And it's just crazy how sometimes those of us, this is like that enduring for the Lord, knowing that you're going to go to be persecuted, knowing that you're going to go through situations and circumstances that are not the best, but still being willing to stand on your work, being willing to stand on the Lord's word, and keep persisting. Although Jeremiah preached to bring men to God and repent, they judged it falsely. So no matter what he said, they wanted to believe the good messages so much, that, and really just think that you'll never, it's like, so like believing, and we've talked about this before, like believing that won't nothing bad happen to you. That's just not the way it goes. We especially got to walk out the stuff that we deal with, right? We especially got to walk out the things that we put ourselves through by not being obedient to God, by not doing what he has told us to do. It is common for wicked people to look upon God's faithful ministers as their enemies, only because they show them what enemies they are to themselves while they continue to be unrepentant. So basically, it's like when like a lot of times for many of you being a light, this is referring to, thank you, Spirit, this is referring to like your light will irritate their demons. The fact that the Lord is using you in a specific way will irritate people who don't want to come to God, who are harboring a spirit of jealousy and envy, who know that you telling them something right, but they so busy trying to be right themselves that they don't want to receive what you're telling them. And so when I was getting this part of the message, the Lord was like, that's why so just know this, like your light is going to irritate some folks' demons. They going to dislike you for no reason. And all you doing is telling them the truth either, or this could even be mad. And I think I've said, thank you, Spirit. So like I said this before, there are people who will be mad because because of who God has created you to be. And because you're walking in your truth and because you're walking in your authenticity, there are people it's like Zedekiah, right? He was afraid of the princes. He was afraid of what people would think about him, say about him. So he wasn't walking in his truth. He believed Jeremiah. He knew that the fall, and it might be in these notes, but he knew Jeremiah was telling the truth, y'all. But he couldn't, to save face, he couldn't say that he believed Jeremiah and didn't believe the prophets that he knew were falsely prophesying. And so he had to try to do everything secretly. He didn't want anybody to know that he was talking to Jeremiah, but he knew the truth, but he was cowardly. It was weak. And so instead of him standing in his and saying, like, listen, I believe this and I'm gonna do it irregardless of what y'all think, he had to try to save face. Zedekiah was weak and afraid to stand up to the princes, so he allowed them to show malice to Jeremiah, even though he knew the prophet was speaking the truth from God. True story. What else? Those will have a great deal to answer for, who, though they have a secret kindness for good people, dare not own it in a time of need, nor will they do what they might. So this is like, if you don't, it's like you only do good in the dark. It's like somebody, it's which I mean, like, you dislike, somebody don't like you, but instead of saying, like, man, I ain't got no problem with them, you ragtagging behind somebody that just because they say they don't like you, you going with somebody even though you know it's the wrong thing to do, going against somebody that maybe you know is good, or going against something that you know is good, instead of you saying, no, I don't agree with you on that, you trying to, you being mean to somebody because of something somebody else feels about that person or something like that. And that's why you got to be afraid. Like, drop this in the chat. I know who I am, and it's about not allowing people to incorrectly influence you. If you know something is wrong, then you need to be able to stand on the fact that you know it's wrong, and not let someone else dictate to you that is, like, just because they don't agree with it, you shouldn't agree with it. Does that make sense? They put Jeremiah into a deeper hole. So mind you, Jeremiah had just got out of jail. He was just in a difficult place. And so he got out, and then they went and put him in a worse hole, a worse dungeon. And what did Jeremiah do? Called upon the Lord, and he answered, fear not. Drop that in the chat. I'm gonna call upon the Lord. It's nothing that the Lord, especially when you're doing what he's commissioned you to do and assigned you to do, and you got your trust in him and your faith in him, he is going to make sure that you're taken care of. Even if you in the worst possible situation, like Jeremiah, he was in a cistern, he was sunk down in the mud, he was mired down, like he was in an impossible, come on God, he was in an impossible situation, and the Lord said, fear not. And that's how, come on Spirit, that's how the Lord is, right? You can think that you're in the most unsettling situation and circumstances, and the Lord will make sure that some kind of way he will touch somebody's heart. He will make a way for you to get out of every situation and circumstance that you feel like you'll never get out of. Jeremiah didn't complain. He was probably moaning and groaning. I imagine he down there in some dirt, in the mud. And so he probably had his complaints, but he still called out to the Lord, and the Lord heard him. Ebed Melech told the king that what the princess had done. Now, this man, this the Ethiopian, right? That stood up and said, and this is what we were just talking about. You want to be that person that, even if it means going against people of status, and like him, he had to go up against the princess. He had to stand up, even if he was scared, even if it meant that they was going to feel some type of way towards him. He did what was right by standing up and saying, listen, Zedekiah, this is what they did to Jeremiah, and it's not right. We need to be able to stand up when it says, even if no one else is standing, you got to be willing to stand up, even if you're the only one standing. Message, even if you're the only one standing for something, message that you know that is right. You got to be willing to stand. You got to be willing to say, this just ain't right. You got to be willing to, even if you got to stand alone sometimes, and sometimes we do, right? We have to stand alone. You got to sometimes be willing to do that, especially if you know someone's being mistreated. If I just heard, if you see something, say something. If you know something ain't right, are you willing to stand up for the person who's being treated unfairly, for a situation that you know is not right? Are you willing to stand in the face of what anybody else is going to say? Orders were immediately given for his release. So finally, okay, Zedekiah got a little backbone about himself. He grabbed his cojones, okay, and was like, okay, look. And so the way he did it was he was like, he said, okay, go get him, like go get him. And he sent some men with Ebed Melech in just in case the princes try to have something to say and try to bug. And um just saying, like he said, go. He sent some men with him so that they could go rescue him. Appear boldly for God. We may succeed better than we could have thought, for the hearts of kings are in the hand of God. Message: everything's still up to the Lord. Drop it in the chat. Message: everything's still up to the Lord. Okay. Um, see what a good use of even old rags may be put to you. Wait, see what a good use of even old rags may be put to, which therefore should not be made waste of any more than broken meat. Jeremiah is brought up out of the dungeon, and is now where he was before. Um, this is okay. Christ found more faith amongst Gentiles than Jews. So this Ethiopian was not one of them, right? But he was more faithful. And we read about this, of course, when we think about the centurion, that sometimes, a lot of times, Jesus found faith in people who were not, quote unquote, the Jews, who were the chosen people. He found more faith in people who were on the Samaritans than he did in the people who should have had the most faith. No, it's the same thing. Thank you. Come on, Spirit. Like the same thing about him preaching in places, people seeing the miracles and still not believing, still not seeing his work and everything that he has done. But there are other places where he could have went. And I don't know where this is at, but I'm like, woe to you, Chorazin, or something. I don't know. That's what they're showing me, is like, it's the places where you would least expect it sometimes is where the Lord found the most faith. No time should be wasted when a life is in danger. God can raise up friends for his people in distress where they thought little of them. You never know how the Lord will make somebody be on your side. Even your enemies, okay, even the people that don't like you, the Lord will make it so that he touches their hearts and make them be a blessing to you. And we're going to see more of this coming up as we continue to read Jeremiah through Jeremiah. God is not unrighteous to forget any work or labor of love which is shown to his people, nor any circumstances of it. He gave me a complete understanding of like a receiving a prophet's reward. And as we continue to read Ebed Melech, it will actually receive a prophet's reward, but we'll get to that. Okay. Those that are in distress should not only be relieved, but relieved with compassion and marks of respect, all which shall be placed to account and abound to a good account in the day of recompense. So is the Lord, for some of you, the Lord may be actually providing some relief for you. And it doesn't always look the way that message, it doesn't always look the way that you think it's going to look, but sometimes the Lord will just come out of nowhere and give you some respite. He'll come out of nowhere and give you just an opportunity to really just he'll protect you and shield you and give you the rest that you've been praying for. Come on, Spirit. God can, when he pleases, make a prison to become a refuge. You better say it. He can make a prison to become a refuge and a hiding place to his people in distress and danger. I have said this to y'all before so many times. Looking at whatever prison, whatever, sometimes you like, maybe it's a job that you're in, and you be like, man, I'm stuck here. And you get tired of being in the prison sometimes, but sometimes that prison is what is keeping you safe. Sometimes that place where you feel like the Lord has you, come on, Spirit, that place where the Lord has you and you feel like he's not moving you, he's not taking you out of the situation. Sometimes that very place that he has you in is for your protection and not because he's trying to keep you there, and not answer what it is that you're wanting him to answer. And I said this to the Lord the other day, like, as much as I have complained, because let's keep it a buckles, we be complaining, right? When the Lord has us in a specific season, when he has us in a specific place and we're ready to leave out of that season, but the Lord still has work to do in and with and through us, right? um some, it's like rejection is protection, or maybe the Lord is not moving you yet because he's keeping you safe from something. And that's something the Lord been talking to me a lot about, is where you may look at something as the worst situation or circumstance, but he can actually be saving you from something that is unseen, saving you from people, places, and things that maybe have ill intent, ill will towards you. He can be saving you from stuff that you don't even know anything about in that very same place that you're looking at as a prison. Um, a place of refuge, keeping you safe from stuff that you just don't even know about. Now, Zedekiah was asking for a word of prediction, of counsel, of comfort, a word from the Lord. Whatever the word, he said, don't keep it from me. Maybe because it was by itself, he thought he was gonna get, he was going to get a different word, but Jeremiah didn't have a different word. The word is the word. This is the word from the Lord. Whether you like it or whether you don't, it's not going to change. Jeremiah made a bargain with him before he would give him advice. For his own safety, Zedekiah would have to deal with him faithfully. So he said, you gonna treat me right, you gonna do me right before I make this deal with you, before I tell you what the Lord said. I just want to know that you gonna do right by me, right? In doing our duty, we ought to use all lawful means for our own preservation. Um, we must with meekness instruct even those that oppose themselves and render good for evil. God is the Father of spirits; souls are His workmanship, and they are more fearfully and wonderfully made than bodies. Submit to divine judgments and not think of contending with them, because you ain't gonna win against God. In dealing with God, that which is good counsel to the meanest is so to the greatest, for there is no respect of persons with him. More will be saved if he would have yielded and he wouldn't. It's like surrender and comply equals to live, and to disobey is to die. Even for sinners, if we humbly submit to his grace and government, we shall live. Either bend or break. It's going to be up to you. I would much rather bend than break. So even if it's like the consequences we have to go through, I would much rather bend to the will of the Lord than him have to break me to his will. We talked about that with the bull, right? Us not wanting to, we want to do what we want to do. Man, my nose is itching so bad, y'all. Um, us, I'm not gonna. I didn't. The Lord didn't had to break me. Drop it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but child, He didn't had to break me, and I don't want to be broken anymore. We have nothing to fear of our duty, but often create imaginary fears that hinder our acceptance of it. Um, don't be scared if the Lord has given you an assignment. Okay, y'all. There's a little glare on the back of that on my back mirror. Those have very weak and fretful spirits indeed, that cannot bear to be laughed at for that which is both their duty and their interest. Let me just, me and the Lord had a whole talk about this, y'all. And y'all know I've told y'all a few times where the Lord had to put a little check me in my spirituals about, and I think on the last message, but I'm not quite, I think on the last message I recorded I mentioned this, but this and both, so when I saw this and this one, I was just like, okay, Lord, you was right. You can't be afraid, y'all. And I kid you not, one of the hardest things sometimes to do is to just be able to be laughed at. Like, you got to be able to allow, just know it's going to be people that are going to laugh at you. They're going to laugh at your ideas. They're going to laugh at you when you decide to start that business. They're going to laugh at you sometimes with the person that you may end up with. Like, people going to laugh and they're going to try to make you feel shame. They're going to try to, you know what I'm saying, make you feel like you crazy because you may be deciding to just stand 10 toes down. And it's like, listen, sometimes you being willing to suffer for the Lord, that's when people will laugh at you the most. Like, with you being willing, and again, the best example that I have of this is just like, man, me being willing to stay instead of going back to Egypt, which we gonna talk about, which actually I had no idea, y'all. But coming up in, I want to say Jeremiah 42, 40, 40, maybe 40, 41, 42, somewhere in there. It literally, I did not know, is getting ready to talk about not going back to Egypt, but I think it's 42. Because I didn't got up to start studying for 42. But anyway, so, but that's even coming back, because for some of you, and I think the one of the, maybe the message I released today, because the day that I'm recording this is the 28th of March. And so I think that the message that I released today was called Blessing or Curse. choose wisely. And it's like for me as an example of this, and to just put y'all, I don't talk about me to be talking about me. I talk about me so that you'll have a real life example of how you can put yourself in situations or recognize patterns or just recognize things that you've done. And so for me, it has consistently been a pattern of going back to Egypt and bondage, going back to servitude, instead of choosing choosing the curse instead of the blessing. The blessing is serving the Lord. The curse was serving the enemy, right? Being in bondage versus being free. And so for me, it's like Egypt, the Lord has already broken me out of Egypt. Come on, 111 on the clock. The Lord has already broken me out of Egypt and I can't go back. Just drop that in the chat. And our Egypts are all different, y'all. Everybody does not have the same Egypt, but it's like me knowing there's certain Egypt, certain things that had me in bondage that I'll never go back to. Addiction being one of those, abusive relationships being one of those. Like there are certain things that the Lord has delivered us from that we know we will never go back to. What's your Egypt? You don't have to drop it in the chat, right? But what is your Egypt? What is something that the Lord, and maybe this is something you can journal about or just talk to the Lord about, pray about, give thanksgiving for. This could be your gratitude. Like there are things, y'all, that the Lord has delivered us from. Like thank God for delivering us from our Egypts. And some of us have had many things that we can consider our Egypt, right? Things that people probably laughed at us about, but thank God for the deliverance. Thank you, Lord, for not taking us, for delivering us and not and making us stay free of Egypt. Be more willing to do a kindness than have it known that they do. So this is talking about, okay, well, okay, that's something completely different. I don't have to tell you that. What Okay, what we seek to avoid by sin will be justly brought upon us by the righteousness of God. And those that decline the way of duty for fear of reproach will certainly meet with greater reproach in the way of disobedience. If God tells you to do something, you need to do it because you would much rather do it than have to deal with the consequences of not doing it. And we're not talking about what got to do with any man. We talking about what has to come for the consequences from God. Like I'm past the point where I want the Lord disciplining me. Like we don't want that. Okay. Many hear God's words, but will not do them. You would be amazed how many people will hear the word of God, but won't take action, won't change, won't repent, won't believe. And you can hear it. You can hear, but we know this. We have to not only be a hearer of the word, we need to be a doer of the word. And it's like, okay, if you can listen if you're not gonna do nothing with what God is telling you, if you're not gonna take His counsel, if you just listening for the sake of listening, that's like eyes to see and ears to hear, like people plugging their ears and not wanting to hear. Then eventually the Lord gonna be like, I'm not gonna keep talking to you. I'm not gonna keep telling you for you just to keep refusing to listen to what I'm saying. Be more will. Okay, so we must be harmless as doves, so as not to tell a willful lie. Yet we must be wise as serpents, so as not needlessly to expose ourselves to danger by telling all we know. When I tell y'all the whole conversation was me and the Lord had about that, because Jeremiah didn't lie to the princess. After he talked to Zedekiah, and Zedekiah said, they gonna ask you this, what you say. Jeremiah didn't lie to them, because those of us who are walking with the Lord, you want to not lie, okay? You want to tell the truth, but what you don't have to do is tell everybody everything that you know. Don't tell all the cards you have in your hand. Don't tell everything that's going on. We talk about moving in silence, and this was one of the best explanations for me, um of being harmless as doves but wise as serpents, because the Lord was just like, you don't have to tell everything that you know. This is why the Lord will tell you not to tell some stuff, but but it's not lying. You just don't have to tell everything that you have an understanding of. And so when He told me this week, I said, okay, Lord, I'm tracking. It's almost like letting people think, and the way He even put it to me was, He was like, man, let them underrate you, let them undervalue you, let them believe that you just like, like, oh, I don't know nothing. Let people think that you deaf, dumb. I wasn't supposed to say that. that you don't hear this, and I mean no offense by saying that, so I hope I don't get banned, but let people think that you don't hear them. Let people think that you don't understand. Let people think that you're not picking up on what they putting down. Let people think that you don't see. Let people underestimate you. Come on, spirit. Let people underestimate you, because it's them that's gonna end up being like, man, I thought I had the up, I thought I had the up on them. But unbeknownst to them, like the Lord keeping you hip, and he keeping you a step ahead of the enemy. And so that's what, for some of y'all, I hope that resonates for you. Let people think that you know less than what you know. And if you know something, you ain't got to tell people everything that you know. Just be like, oh, okay, well, tell us. Sometimes you got to tell people enough of what they think they want to hear, and then just keep it moving. Okay. Let's do it. Let's get to it. Y'all know which I want to use first. Um, I know I've showed y'all, but I had these. Let's get into the message. Let's see what we got. Of course, we're gonna do. Let's do some preparation for the promise, because I'm still. Oh my goodness. I'm still feeling that in my spirituals. Then we have 14:14 on the cut, and 26. Then we'll use the Bible Clarity deck, as well as Keys of the Kingdom, because that's what I feel in my spirituals. Oh, let's do it. Let's get to it. Um, yeah, y'all. I'm excited to see what else. What else? I already know, because I didn't read up to chapter 42. But man, Jeremiah. You ever felt like you be going through more struggles than success? You be going through more difficulties and challenges, and every time you think you got a win, or you got a little reprieve or escape, then another problem end up coming up. So that's why we always have to be on alert. Like, drop that in the chat. I'm gonna stay on alert, right? Let's see what we got, y'all. Here we go. Oh, let's do it. Hey, let me shuffle them again, child. Come on, little growth and expansion. We received that too, child. And do. Okay. Now let's see what we got. Look, there go them angels. Hey, y'all. Y'all have meant that in y'all spirituals. Thank you, Father God, for protecting us. Thank you that our angels are going before us and clearing the way, clearing the path, keeping us safe. We are so truly grateful for the protection that the Lord provides. Ain't it? Is. Okay, here we go. Boom. 12:15 is the first card to come out. We have 12:15. This is growth, assembly or gathering, increase, gain, and profit. Psalm 125, 21 and 5. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. We got some money out here. So somebody, monte on the grow, resources on the grow. Look at that soil. That's that fertile soil, y'all. That's that fertile soil. We know we love to see it. The Lord watching over you, child. We in a season where we letting the Lord be everything to us. Drop that in the chat. You everything to me, Lord. You everything to me. My business manager, my financial planner. I tell y'all, man, it ain't nothing like working for the Lord. Remember, I just told y'all the difference between Egypt and is in bondage and servitude. Like, no, I'm in service to the Lord. So for some of you, if the Lord has freed you, stay free. Okay. 1263 is the next card to come out. The Lord has done great things for us, and we are filled with joy. Psalm 126 and 3. I actually ended up, this card came up, and did I do a Bible study on it? I'm pretty sure I did, y'all. The other day, I ended up getting Psalm 1. Well, no, I didn't. I didn't know where the Lord, or why the Lord was sending me somewhere message, but this card came up. Let me make sure it wasn't this day. I ended up doing a Bible study on Psalm 126, because when I recorded it, when I recorded, um, I did on the 25th. I did a whole, so I'm probably gonna give y'all some notes out of this, because of the fact this card came up in a couple, like two of the messages that I ended up recording. And it came up in the same spot. It was down here at the end. Now it's coming up in the middle of the spread, but it came up at down here. It was like the fourth card out, two different times, exact same position. So the next day, I was like, well, Lord, where are you sending me for Bible study today? So he ended up sending me to Psalm 126. And so I did a whole Bible study on this. So I'm probably going to I know I am, y'all. I know I'm gonna give y'all some messages from this, because one of the things, the one of the notes that I have right here, and I did this on the 25th. And so I know I'm gonna give y'all some of these notes out of here. Let me just give you one real quick. Based upon, and this is confirming this card right here. Streams could appear suddenly and rush with a mighty flow. And I might even title this, y'all, Flash Flood Warning. God unexpectedly releasing abundance and streams in the wilderness. And this is three different little piles of money here, y'all. So this doesn't have to necessarily be like money. This could just be resources. But it everything works together for y'all. I kid y'all not, my Bible studies be just so amazing, because I had no idea why the Lord was sending me to Psalm 126, but he gave it to me very specifically. And it's like being amazed at God's work, the fulfillment of a joyful dream, God setting his people free and they were restored. So it even, because it tripped me out. So let me tell y'all how I know, and we're going to get the next part, and then I'll give y'all some more of that. Because when I went and looked up Psalm 123, come on, y'all, I just did a message that was talking about breaking every chain. And look at the chain that's on here, y'all. And look at the handcuffs is behind that. And the enemy finna let the Lord finna make the enemy let somebody go. Now let me finish telling y'all. So when that message came out, even though, because it's all it says for me is Psalm 126:3, right? And so of course we've been in Bible Clarity, we have done the Psalms, but when I went and looked it up, this psalm, y'all, and y'all know, and this is, let me go to it. And y'all know we've been talking a lot about like the Lord is releasing, he's releasing many of us. And yes, I'm gonna say us because I received it, Lord. He's releasing many of us from captivity. So imagine my shock, and you can't even see where this was highlighted, y'all, but my highlight is over with. Imagine my shock when I go to Psalm 126 on the 25th, and it literally is talking about thanksgiving for return from captivity. I was like, wow, Lord. So I'm tripping, and it's not that long, but when I read this, I was just like, OMG, because it literally is talking about the Lord releasing, and you know what I'm saying, the exiles returning from captivity, returning from captivity. This is the enemy keeping you bound. And didn't I just say, for he will give his angels charge over you? Or didn't I just say something about the angels? The reason I did that was because I saw the 9111 card, and this is literally surely he will save you from the snare, the fowler snare, and from the deadly pestilence. Psalm 91:3, saving us from some type of temptation, and him also breaking chains, releasing us. This is strength, bound, power, and authority and weakness. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Okay. And that's even reference and bringing to me, even though this is Isaiah 40 and 29, even like Jeremiah, and him strengthening Ebed Melech to even go to the king and say, hey, they ain't do Jeremiah right. So for some of you, it's something like that, like strengthening you in your time of weakness. Some of y'all don't know how much power you actually have, how much authority, how much, and it's simply because you're willing to be a vet, like you're a willing vessel, you're willingly fighting the good fight. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid and do not be discouraged. Shackled, necessary restrictions and bondage. Ain't this what we've been talking about this whole message? I'm trying to tell somebody. And then this, of course, deception, confusion, spiritual warfare, and temptation up under that. So let's get some cards out here, child, because we see what we finna talk about, don't it? This is like the Lord saying that the enemy is not going to be able to hold you. And just like them folks did all that to Jeremiah, and in the end, the Lord still had his way, and he went and sent somebody and said, "Get him out of there," and he got him out. So for many of you, this is the Lord coming through in a time we talked about in bondage, in a time where you're just like, man, how am I ever going to get out of this? How am I ever going to get free? And the enemy even trying to deceive you and make you think that the Lord is not going to come to your rescue. Many of you are at a point where it's time that the Lord is, it's like it's your time where the Lord is getting ready to come in and save you. It's your time where he's like, okay, you've gone through enough, you've dealt with enough. Even though he's been protecting you and keeping you safe in whatever you've been going through, him literally saying, okay, it is your time to be set free. Drop that in the chat. Set me free, Lord. It's your time to be released. It is your time for the Lord. And why? Not because it's because you've been showing up for him. You've been showing up and doing the work. You've been showing up in your assignment. You've been walking in your purpose. You allowed him to strengthen you. You allowed him to provide for you. You began to come on, Spirit. You begin to trust him like you've never trusted him before, knowing that he's going to do what he said he's going to do. It's one thing to believe in faith. It's a whole nother thing to show a demonstration of your belief in faith. Does that make sense? It's like knowing that, no, I would much, it's like Jeremiah, right? Knowing that he was going to be persecuted, he still stood on what the Lord said. He still stood. I almost said the number 1313 a little bit earlier. He still stood on it. He still, even though he knew it wasn't what anybody wanted to hear, he still refused to allow them to change his message because he believed in God and trusted in God just that much. So I don't know, for whoever this is for, it's like you just continuing to stand, and no matter what, that's why these chains are being broken. That's why the Lord can, the enemy cannot hold you. It don't matter, even in your captivity, the Lord will make sure that you're favored. Just like Jeremiah, it wasn't always the best of circumstances, but some kind of way the Lord came to his rescue, y'all. So all to do it. Let's get, y'all know we're using the what? Bible Clarity deck. I'm excited to use it. So let's see what's happening. Here we go. Boom. Six of Cups is the first card to come out. This is speaking to Joseph. Didn't I just mention Joseph, y'all? Didn't we just talk about the cistern? What you have said, Lord? When didn't we just talk about the cistern and how Joseph was thrown into the cistern as well? Thank you, Lord. We receive it. This is the Six of Cups, and this is Joseph forgives his brothers. This is reconciliation and forgiveness. Joseph, after being sold into slavery by his jealous brothers, rises to a powerful position in Egypt, and later, despite the great wrong done to him, forgives his brothers, explaining that God used their evil intentions for good by allowing him to save many lives, demonstrating a profound act of grace and reconciliation. Through God's intervention, Joseph's family comes to Egypt unknowingly encountering their long lost brother. Joseph eventually reveals his identity and assures his brothers that he holds no grudge, explaining that God orchestrated events to save their lives. I also, what did y'all, I just heard something on here. God is revealing somebody's identity. He's revealing who you truly are. Like Joseph, finally, after he took him down through some, now he took him through a couple things, right? He made them think that he was not, he made them just think, because of course he kind of tested them, right? He kind of made them, that's not the word, I don't even want to say testing is the word, but he didn't immediately reveal himself to them. He made them, he still showed them a little bit of favor, but it took him a minute before he finally said, okay, this is who I am. So for some of you, the Lord is revealing your identity. And this is also about being willing to forgive some folks that maybe even forgive the people who could persecute you. This is about having that heart of the Lord. And sometimes even your enemies don't even know it. Sometimes what the Lord will make you go through, or people think they make you go through, is actually going to prove it's like giving God the glory for it. Because just like with Joseph, right? What they meant for evil, God meant for good, because he had to go through, he had to get thrown into the cistern, he had to go to jail, but he was still favored while he was in jail. He was still given favor by I can't even think of the fella's name, like it, but he was in charge of the people that were in prison. The Lord was still showing him favor, even though the enemy was down here trying to make him think that he was in the worst position that he could be in. The Lord still blessed him. So for some of you, this is why you got to forgive the folks that even do wrong to you. You got to be willing to be like, you know what, it's all good, because ultimately God is going to make everything work out for your good. Okay, so let's see what else. And some of y'all, this could definitely be about some betrayal, but it's okay because God's going to make everything work out the way it's supposed to work out for you. Here we go. Y'all, I can't make this up. I can't make this up. I wasn't going to talk about this, and I'm probably not going to go all the way into it, but I receive it, Lord. We have the Queen of Swords that is coming up next. This is talking about Deborah. And oh, I don't want to go all the way into this, y'all, but your identity. Come on, spirit, your identity. For some of you, and I'm finna read this. Let me just say this: the Queen of Swords talks about Deborah. Okay. Deborah, and I'm gonna just tell y'all, Deborah, you can go and read her story in Judges 4 and 5. Judges 4 and 5. Why do I know that? Because I actually had to go and do research on Deborah just yesterday. And I want to tell y'all, can I tell it? Let me just talk. Let me just I don't I be wanting to tell y'all stuff, and some stuff I'm gonna just tell y'all. I can tell it, Lord. I can tell it. So y'all know, if you've been rocking with me, man, this is so crazy. If you've been rocking with me for a minute, y'all already know I done told y'all dreams. Dreams is not one of my things. Okay. That's not something that I have a lot of experience with, or that I've dealt with a lot. But this is also speaking to the Lord, revealing to you and to others who you are. Okay. And we just talked about that, revealing the identity. But stay tracking. So yesterday morning, I woke up and I had a dream, y'all, about a bee. Okay, like bees, like bees. And so in the dream, I don't know where exactly I was, but I was sitting at a table, and at the table behind me, and it was almost like if you're in a, I don't know, in like a restaurant or something, but like the table, so there was a thing behind me, but you could still kind of see over the back of the seat, and then it was more seats like directly behind me. And so there was a lady back there, and she was reading tarot. Now I wasn't reading tarot, but she was reading tarot. Y'all, I thought I was tripping, but that card was smoking. I was like, Lord, is my car smoking? But it's not my car. Okay, y'all, because I kept on smelling something, and that's why, like, child, I was like, is that my car? No, it's not my car. It's that car over there. And it's kind of coming in the car. Okay, I'm back listening. So the lady behind me was reading tarot, right? And man, I can't believe this. And she, it was like people that were going to this lady, right? They were going to her, and they were like, yeah, she's a psychic. This is true story. They were like, yeah, she's a psychic. But all of a sudden, she just stopped talking, and she turns to me and she says, God is speaking to you. And I was like, okay. And all she said was, it's about the bees. And so I was like, the bees. Now, mind you, bees are very significant for me, right? Just because of just like ancestors, and just bees are very significant for me. And some of y'all notice part of my email address, like my official email address, has BEE in it. Okay. Touche BEE. And so she was just like, it's about the bees. And so I was like, okay. So I turned from her and I look around, and all of a sudden it was just bees everywhere, but not like the actual bees. I looked and people's like clothing was like bees. Like it literally just turned to where people were wearing like bee clothing. And so I was like, oh, look at the bees. So I wake up and then I ended up seeing like it was like the Lord was there, y'all. And because now it kind of flipped to another part where the Lord was there, but he was like setting stuff on fire. And I was just like, but everybody was following him as well. Like everybody was following him, but at the time they were following him, he was setting different things on fire. So then I wake up. So then um I wake up and normally I don't remember my dreams, but all I remembered was is something about the bees. And I was like, Lord, and let me just show you, this was yesterday, y'all. So I'm like, Lord, um, let me go to yesterday. This is today. So I'm like, Lord, what does this mean? What are you trying to show me? And so I end up looking up bees. I was like, bees in the I looked up bees in the Bible and ended up a couple of places, of course, bees and honey are mentioned in the Bible. We know the land flowing with milk and honey, but I was reading, I was like, no, this ain't that. This ain't that. I read something else and it was talking about Samson and the bees that built like were in the lion carcass that he had killed. And I almost went there, but I was just like, no, that don't feel right. And then I ended up seeing that Deborah in the Bible, in Judges 4 and 5, her name means bee, Bee. So I immediately knew right then. I heard Spirit say, okay, that's it. I was like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to read. So yesterday, my Bible study was on Judges 4 and 5. So now, mind you, I hadn't used this deck the whole time. It was just over to the side. So I did a little bit of research. I did my Bible study on Judges 4 and 5. And so after I get done doing this, and I wrote it right here, Deborah, her name signifies a bee. She answered her name by her industry, her sagacity, which means wisdom, foresight, discernment, keen perception, able to make good judgments, and great usefulness to the public, her sweetness to her friends, and sharpness to her enemies. And so, anyway, I go through and I'm doing my Bible study, and I'm just like, okay, Lord, this is what it was. She was intimately acquainted with God. She was a prophetess, one that was instructed in divine knowledge by the immediate inspiration of the Spirit of God and had gifts of wisdom to which she attained not in an ordinary way. She heard the words of God and probably saw the visions of the Almighty. So anyway, I'm tripping, right? Because I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. Okay, Lord, I receive it. So I'm in Bible study, and all of a sudden I get a text message, and I ended up, and we talk about reconciliation as well. I ended up on the phone with my sister, and y'all, there were just, and so I'm telling her, so I'm tripping because when I opened up my DMs, there was a bee on, like, the little bee emoji. It was literally right there. And I was like, why is there a bee right here? So anyway, I'm talking to my sister and telling her such and such and such. She starts telling me something. Y'all, it was just one confirmation after confirmation after confirmation till I was just like, OMG, the Lord be blowing my mind. So then all of a sudden she starts some kind of way, because she doesn't have any of my oracle deck or my message decks. Some kind of way she's like, she was like, she was like, I'm gonna need to get a deck from you. And she was like, which one should I get? So at this point, I reach over and the cards are face down, just like this, in my little box. And so I reach over and pick this deck up. And I was like, well, the deck that I just put out is Bible Clarity. And I look, y'all, and this card was at the bottom of the deck. And I had just got done studying Deborah. So when I say that the Lord is revealing your identity to you. This story is all about understanding that God is taking you to a new level. Drop that in the chat. And y'all know I'm the person who doesn't call myself nothing. But God has been, and I'm sharing this because I need some of you to understand that God says who you are. He determines who you are. He determines what gifts you're going to have. And at the time that I was doing Bible study, I ended up going and reading about First Corinthians. I was in First Corinthians 14. That's where the Lord had took me. He was taking me after reading about Deborah. And no sooner than I'm in First Corinthians 14, then all this other stuff starts happening. And I know that the Lord took me through all of that so that I can, number one, tell you that your gifts are making room for you. And you need to believe that if God has said this is who you are, then this is who you are, no matter what anybody else thinks. One of the things that I have told the Lord, and this is why it's so important to have this relationship with Him. One of the things that I have often talked to the Lord about is one of the things that the enemy, even in this dream, okay, even in this dream I just told y'all about, that one of the things the enemy tries to do. So some of you, this is about becoming aware of tactics that the enemy will try to say, that's not who you are. That's not it. One of the tactics that tends to come up to me, or come up the most, the enemy trying to discourage me from using my gifts. Him trying to make me, how do I say that, Lord? Him trying to, but it's the same old thing. It's the same old tricks. Like, he don't have a new playbook. Him trying to make you not believe who you are, even though the Lord has told you who you are. Him trying to make you diminish yourself, because I don't feel like I don't have gifts. The Lord give the whatever gifts I have, the Lord has given me, and I'm only doing anything by His strength. But what He will try to do, y'all, is He's so manipulative, and that's why the Lord will make you aware of how He's breaking these chains off of you, because for whatever this is the enemy is going to try to make you diminish yourself in the area that the Lord is trying to make you be great. Does that make sense? And so let me just read. I hope that is tracking. I'm not the person, and y'all, like I said, that I don't know a whole lot about dream interpretation, but in this particular message, what the Lord is doing is He's saying He is revealing your identity to you, and even in the face of other people trying to condemn you. And the whole point, the reason that tarot was so significant, because so many people will try to say that just because you read tarot that you're a false prophet. And that is the furthest thing from the truth, because the Lord, come on, Spirit, the Lord can use whatever instrument He wants to use. And whether people like to receive it or hear it or not, there are some people who are reading tarot that are much more in tune with the Lord than the people who say they in tune with the Lord. And this is not meant to be offensive, but this is meant to be truthful. We literally just got done talking about the false prophets who want to tell people what they want to hear. And this can be in tarot, but this can also be in people who read the word. Everybody who's giving a message from the Lord is not speaking for the Lord. But this is about you standing firm and knowing if you are, come on, Spirit, if you are delivering a message from God, there are people who are not going to receive that, because some people get so hung up on the method instead of the message. And so for some people, that's why they can't get any further than what they're getting, because number one, the Lord is like, I didn't send you. You will get, if there were many people who will come before Jesus and be like, Lord, Lord, and He's going to say, I don't know you. You were doing, because everybody is not sent. But this is also the check me in the convention, that the conviction the Lord put in my spirituals. I sent you to do a great and a great work in my name. And so for many of you, if the Lord is sending you into that assignment, you're going to have to go, even if it gets you in trouble, even if it gets you persecuted, even if people are going to speak against it, no matter what. You have got to believe what God has told you, because it's going to be plenty of folks who are going to speak against you. And I'm so happy and so grateful that it's not my responsibility responsibility to try to sit up here and tell somebody what they are and are not doing. I'm just grateful to be in service to the Lord. Let me read about Deborah. Deborah is a prominent female figure. And this is also, come on, God, this is also speaking to the fact that yes, the Lord is raising up a lot more women who are going out and preaching. Now, mind you, if you go read what Paul wrote in the Bible, Paul said women are supposed to be seen and not heard in the church. And if they want to say something, then they need to go through their husband. What I know is that the Lord is bringing up more women who are going out and preaching. And just like Deborah, who's one of the few women of mentioned insignificance in the Bible, he made her the head and Barak the tail at this particular time when he made them go up against the folks. And he made her to be the mouthpiece for him versus the man. Okay, let me read this. Deborah is a prominent female figure serving as both a prophetess and judge in the book of Judges, making her the only woman to hold such a leadership role in Israel's history. She is renowned for her courageous leadership in leading the Israelites to victory against the Canaanites under the command of Barak, even compelling him to go into battle by promising to accompany him. Deborah's story is further celebrated through the Song of Deborah, a poetic account of the battle, highlighting her significant role as a military strategist and spiritual leader. Okay, so I hope that made sense to somebody. And this is not, because again, y'all, this is not to say message that every dream is from the Lord, but the Lord giving me this dream and then confirming it. Not to mention, I go to my daughter's house. When I get to my daughter's house, she has a picture. I have a picture of it on my phone. She has a picture of a little card that literally had a B on it, y'all. I can't make this up. I say, oh, Lord, okay, Lord, I'm listening. So this is about the Lord unlocking those gifts, and you got to be willing to stand on them. You got to be willing to walk in those gifts, because He's not giving them to you for nothing. But you got to believe in the things that the Lord is awakening within you. You got to believe it. And that's what the Lord was telling me. He's like, yeah, I know you don't do a lot of prophetic dreaming. Don't. He said, but this one, and he confirmed it in a multitude of ways. He took me to so many things, and in so many ways, he confirmed what it was he was trying to say to me. He confirmed it in the word of God. He confirmed it by the conversation that I had with someone. He confirmed it by me seeing this random card on my daughter's coffee table yesterday. Like, he confirms it. So for many of you, you're being confirmed in the office that he's placing you in. And this is not for brag. Come on, Lord, y'all, on the cut. You, Daddy, if you had wanted to show out, just say that. On the cut. I am that I am, the Hierophant. What'd you say, Lord? He's confirming you in your calling. He's confirming you in your identity, but you have to know who you are in Christ. Does that make sense? So for some of you, this is about him giving you those confirmations that you need to let you know that this is exactly where I want you. This is exactly the gift I want you to be using. This is exactly who I created you to be. And be confident in your walk, even if it gets you persecuted, even if it gets you laughed at, like we just got done talking about, even if it don't make sense to other people, it makes sense to God. And as long as you know you walking in what he told you to do, you got to keep trusting in him. We're not here to please man. We're here to serve the Lord. Okay. And then on the other side of this is the Knight of Cups. So I hope that made sense for somebody. He's confirming you. The Lord is confirming you. The Lord can bless you and give you whatever gifts he wants to give you. As long as you know that you walk in his will and in his way, you got to be all right. I am that I am. This is the Hierophant card. This is the God card in the Bible Clarity deck. I am that I am is the divine name God reveals to Moses in Exodus 3:14, when Moses asks for his name at the burning bush. God responds, I am who I am, signifying his eternal, self-existent, and unchanging nature. This name establishes God as the ultimate being, independent of time and creation. It reassures Moses and the Israelites that God is with them and will deliver them from Egypt. How much we've been talking about Egypt? Okay, I'm back. This profound statement of divine identity becomes foundational in biblical theology, later echoed by Jesus in the New Testament when he declares, I am, that's in John 8:58, affirming his divinity. Okay, let me clarity this, y'all, and see what else. We'll get a couple keys of the kingdom deck. So, for some of y'all, this just feels like the Lord, and kind of like with Jeremiah, right? He knew who he was speaking for. He knew that he was telling God's good truth. Okay, he knew, even Zedekiah knew. He was just afraid to speak up and say something in front of the princes. So for some of you, the Lord is confirming you, child. He is confirming your calling. He is confirming that he is freeing you. He is confirming that he is breaking the bonds and the shackles. Um, he is confirming that he is moving in your life as well. So let's just see, child. You just never know we just never know what the Lord's gonna do. We just never know what the Lord is going to do. But I'm grateful for it. And some of you, this is also confirming that this is your time of release from captivity, from whatever's been holding you back or keeping you stuck. He is freeing us, y'all. Like he is releasing us. He's releasing us into assignments. He's releasing wealth and prosperity. He's releasing resources. He's releasing the right connections. He's releasing the right open doors. He's releasing the things that you need in order to succeed in your purpose, in your calling. And we receive that. Drop it in the chat. I receive it, Lord, because a lot of us have had to just make do with just that daily bread, right? We've had to make do. We've had to just make it. And he had to. But the other thing that I know is that the Lord had to make sure that you were going to stick with him, y'all. The thing about God is, as long as you stand with him and stick with him, he will stick with you. And so for many of us, what he's doing is he knows that we're committed. He knows that we're not going, it's like breaking those cycles of disobedience that we just see over and over and over in the Bible, because that's the whole thing. It's like you obey, everything good, all of a sudden you forget the Lord, now you're disobedient, and then you end up in a situation or a circumstance. Then you holler for help, the Lord come rescue you again, yay, thank you, and then all of a sudden you go off and it's like the prodigal son cycle over and over and over again. This is what we experience in the Bible, but this is what we also experience in our own lives, right? So let's clarity it. Let's see what's happening. So some of us are breaking that cycle of disobedience, whether it's going back to Egypt in whatever way, however you have continued to keep yourself in certain cycles, whether it's diminishing yourself, diminishing your gifts. And one of the things, y'all, that I have told the Lord is like, because I'm not that person. Like, I'm not trying to show out. I'm not trying to, like, I just want to give God the glory and just help some people to become free and give them an invitation to know who they are, not only in Christ, but just ultimately an invitation like Daddy wants you. Like the Lord is calling you. Like, people, we be so stuck, man. We be so stuck, and we really can't free ourselves. But the invitation is always open. You just got to be willing to accept it. So I'm not here, and I've said this to y'all before. This don't have anything to do with me, because I never know what's gonna come out in these cards. I only know what the Lord gives me to say when I come up here to say something. And so I'll be telling the Lord, but this is also him saying, stop diminishing the gifts that I'm blessing you with. Stop acting like I'm not blessing you with a gift that's going to help my people. And this is the way, like him telling me this and me now sharing this with y'all. Like, stop acting like the Lord didn't bless you with a gift. You're very humble, and there's so much humility in what the Lord has blessed you with. But don't let but don't look at yourself so low that you don't allow to fully use your gifts the way that you're supposed to. And that's the way the Lord explained it to me. It ain't about trying, because ain't nobody trying to show off, because we don't have, it's no glory for us to have, right? It's all like, man, this is what the Lord, this is all for the glory of God. So drop that in the chat, like, this is all for the glory of God. What else? Here we go. Message. Ripen is the first card to come out, y'all. This is mature, ready, accomplished, perfected, grown up, enriched, completed. This is Mark 4, Mark 4, 26 through 29. He also said, "This is what the kingdom of God is like. A man scatters seed on the ground night and day, whether he sleeps or gets up, the seed sprouts and grows, though he does not know how. All by itself, the soil produces grain. All by itself, the soil produces grain." Okay. um, First the stalk, then the head, then the full kernel in the head. As soon as the grain is ripe, he puts the sickle to it because the harvest has come. Okay, the harvest has come. So for some of you, this is like ripening, maturing in your gifts and your purpose. And y'all, we're gonna go through this cycle multiple times. Like where you are now, the Lord is still going to elevate you and take you even higher. Drop it in the chat, like, take me higher, Lord. Take me even higher. Be grateful for where you are now, but we don't want to stop growing. We don't want to stop maturing in the things that the Lord is blessing us to learn. We want to keep moving forward. So take me higher, Lord. And at in his time and not our time. That's why you learn how to be a little bit more patient. And that's why I'm so grateful. And we talked about that in the notes where it's just like sometimes your prison, the things where you feel like you're just stuck, man, the growth that will happen for you in those times where you're just like, man, Lord, I've grown so much. I've had so much time. This same refuge that at first was just like nothing but a prison has been that place. Come on, Spirit, where the Lord has really grown within me. And this is just the beginning. Drop it in the chat. This is just the beginning. The Lord is not going to stop growing with you unless you stop growing with him. So it's me understanding that even if you look at something as a prison, a lot of times that is like your saving grace. That is that thing that is going to give you the opportunity to grow and expand. For some of you, this is like in your job, right? You may have a job and you maybe can't stand that job, but how you know the Lord ain't got you there, still allowing you to keep that job so that you can build your business on the side, so that if he blesses you, come on, Spirit, he blesses you with an idea, you using your job to fund your business. Because let me just tell anybody who need to know this, it is not always the, if you have an opportunity to build something while you still have a job, you still have some full-time income, please do that thing. Message. Please do that. Because when you have to do it the way that the Lord requires some of us to do it, where you building and you just have nothing but the Lord, that's why you got to start looking at where the Lord has you as a blessing. That's why we have to look at whatever your situation or your circumstance is, what you're currently going through. There's a blessing in that. There's a reason that the Lord still has you in a particular place or has you doing a particular thing. And so when you can start to change your perspective and be grateful for exactly where you are, that's the first step in truly becoming free. Even if you feel like it's bondage, even if you feel like it's like you so ready and you feel like you've outgrown a place, when the Lord is ready to transplant you, when he's ready to put you in your new place, he's going to prepare that way for you. He's going to break the chain, and all of a sudden the prison door is going to be open. But he wants to make sure that you're prepared, even if you feel like you in jail, even if you feel like you in prison. The fact that I just again made the connection of the fact that Joseph was in prison, he was in jail, but even in that time, the Lord grew him, matured him, and made him ready in jail. In jail, where it was in jail. And even after he analyzed and he told them what the dreams mean, the baker and the cupbearer, right? Even after he told them and interpreted, thank you, Lord, interpreted, oh my gosh, interpreted the dreams. How did Joseph end up getting to where he got? The fact that the Lord told me to tell y'all this dream story, Joseph came to prominence because he interpreted the dreams of the cupbearer and the baker. And then once the cupbearer got back, all of a sudden he remembered. Some of y'all finna get remembered. Like some of y'all, the Lord is getting ready to place your name, place you, like people gonna be like, oh, I heard about you. And the Lord gonna raise you to prominence that way. So again, do your work while you in, come on, Spirit, I just gotta chill. Do your work while you in what looks like a jail to others. Use your jail as your place of refuge. Use your jail, your prison sentence, if you will, as your place to learn and develop and grow and truly like walk in righteousness, right relationship with the Lord. Use that, y'all. Use the time that the Lord is giving you, because I promise you that time of isolation, that come on, spirit, that time in the wilderness, that time when you ain't got nothing but time to sit up and read the Bible, you're going to want that time back. You gonna want it, and you gonna be like, man, I wish I would have took every opportunity that I could to get closer to the Lord, to know more about Him, to pray more. You gonna want it, because when He prepares you and He breaks these chains and He opens these doors, y'all, you gonna want that time back. You gonna wish that now you gonna be ready to slow down. So if the Lord has you in a slow season, don't be discouraged. Use that as a time to grow and expand and elevate in the things that the Lord is trying to show you, trying to teach you. Use that time to mature and ripen. Okay. What else, Lord? This is good. Yes, and for some of y'all, this is even because this I am that I am card, y'all, is down here with the snake. Can we just give God the true story, give God the glory? The enemy has already been defeated. He, the snake, was done. Come on, y'all. I just watched this video last night. The snake has already been defeated. Jesus has triumphed already over the enemy. What? You got to know that you already won. Drop it in the chat. I already won, because we know who we serve, right? Let's see what else. Child, this was a good message. This was good, Lord. We receive it. We receive it. So for yes, so this is the I'm gonna get one. I'm only gonna get one more of these. Look, that was the fire card. I feel like I only need one more, and then I'm fit that'll be it, y'all. Because this I feel like I could still give some more off of what's already out here. This is about, again, the Lord revealing your identity. Joseph eventually reveals his identity. I'm telling y'all, this is it. And you know what? Jesus, 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 Jesus. You got to know who you are, y'all. He's out here. He's out here. Like the Lord said, I'm outside today. He meant it. He meant it. Revealing it, like, I don't know, man. I just, for whoever this message is for, Lord, I hope you receive it. And just know that it's sometimes the Lord, he's just going to show you who you are. And this is nothing, it's not even about you. It's literally just about him. But the Lord's going to make an example of you, and simply, you just got to go with it. You just got to go with it. What else, Lord? And child, I just saw the authority card. I don't know. I know I said one more. That's it. And that's you was right, Lord. You was right. Let me just fruitful. The Lord finna make somebody real fruitful and abundant. Okay. Matthew 19:28. Jesus said to them, truly, I tell you, at the renewal of all things, when the Son of Man sits on his glorious throne, you who have followed me will also sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. This is fruitful, fertile, abundant. This soil down here. Come on, successful, productive, blooming, bountiful, rich, effective, profitable. So the Lord's getting ready to send somebody out on their assignment, y'all, to be what? We going from one little bit of fruit to multiplication of the fruit. This is, of course, the fruit of the spirit, but this is also being fruitful in your assignment, being fruitful in your knowledge, being fruitful in your purpose. And sometimes it feels like, and we already talked, we saw multiplication on this card as well. Sometimes it just seems like it's a long time coming, but trust and believe. You keep showing up for the Lord, and he gonna start showing up for you. And one of the things I've been hearing a lot of for the past few days, some of you, maybe you've been doing the things over and over and over, but this is, and I can say this for myself, right? Like, doing something and you feel it, but you just not willing to give up, especially, y'all, when you know it's your purpose. You can't make your purpose make sense to nobody else. You can't make nobody understand why you just got to keep doing this thing. No matter how many times you move away from it, it calls you back. There are things I can be, as much as I love to read the Bible, because before I started doing this, before I came live, y'all, I was reading the Bible. I was doing Bible study. And I was just like, man, I got to get up and do a message. Like, I got to go to work. I got to go do what the Lord has asked me to do. So some of you, maybe it's you trying to figure out, like, man, what's my purpose? What keeps whispering your name? What the Lord keep putting in front of you? What you keep thinking about? What is something that you have walked away from but find yourself being drawn back to? For me, it's the Bible, and it's giving these messages, and it's learning, and it's being in relationship with the Lord, because this is my assignment. The more time I can spend with God, the better. When I have to leave out of the Lord's presence and go do the other worldly stuff and do the other things, the other assignments that He gives me to do, y'all, I can't wait to get back in this spot. I can't wait to get back in the Word. I can't wait to tap back in and be like, okay, Lord, now He never leaves, but He gives us other things that we're responsible for. But trust and believe, and this is for somebody else. There may be counterfeit opportunities that are presented to you. And this is only advice. I can't make anybody believe what I'm saying. I can't make you choose what decisions to make. But I even said this to the Lord: Lord, only allow opportunities that are going to help me to grow and advance and accelerate in my mission and in my purpose. Don't, because this is one of the things where, again, y'all, this is one of those things where the Lord is trying to break you out of cycles. If it's not advancing me in my purpose, if it's not advancing me in my vision and what the Lord has given me to do, then I don't want it. And that's one of the ways that the Lord is teaching me how to say which opportunity is for me and which is not. If it is not growing me in things of the Lord, if it is not advancing me in my purpose, then it's not what I'm supposed to be doing. And it ain't got nothing to do with money, because sometimes there's opportunities that have money attached, that still, just because it got money attached, don't mean it's the right opportunity or the right door. Sometimes you just got to sit with the Lord for a second and say, Lord, what about this? Is this what you're sending to me? And He's either going to give you a yes or a no. A few messages after this, I want to say it may be in Jeremiah 41 or 42, we're going to talk more about the fact that sometimes you'll pray to the Lord and you may not immediately get the answer for something, but you just going to have to wait on it. Okay. These are the things that He matures you in when you have the time, and He gives you that wilderness season and that opportunity to just sit with Him and learn and grow and develop and really learn how to understand His voice and hear from Him, so that you don't keep making the same mistakes over and over and over. These are the kind of things that He ripens when you in that season, in that season where you feel like you in jail. Use your time wisely. Use the time that He gives you in order to grow and elevate and expand, especially in the things of the Lord. Okay. That's it. Lord, I hope this helps somebody, y'all. I just never be knowing where the Lord is taking us, but I'm always so grateful for where He leads us, right? That's it. That's all I got. Lord, I hope this helps somebody. Y'all, hydrate your soul and things. Drink your water. Say your gratitude. Have a fantastic and an amazing day in purpose, on purpose. And I will see y'all on the next one. I love y'all in real life. Bye, y'all.